I consider my work like a construction of different symbols and codes in a certain sense, almost like a codex, you know? I'm really interested in materials and the surface of a painting, and in my work I incorporate a lot of industrial techniques and processes that really hide my hand in the work. Different flocking materials like glitter and velvet kind of break the flatness of the work. Also given some of the narratives that I'm focused on, particularly around labor and the use of the pickup truck and the horse. I feel like those are all things that a lot of people from the demographic I come from identify with in some degree. I feel like it's a special opportunity to kind of pivot that narrative and speak to a specific audience where they can see themselves and hopefully inspire next generation of artists. I speak a lot about my experience commuting. So I feel, for anyone growing up in Southern California, particularly in Los Angeles, I feel like anyone could relate to the experience of commuting in traffic. As a brown person trying to occupy space in the commercial art world, earlier I was speaking about my own experience going to commercial art galleries and museums and not really seeing myself. My objective with the work is never for it to be prescriptive, where it could be read that way. There's aspects of my personal identity as an artist that influence my identity my personal identity as a person that then influences my identity as an artist that comes out in the work. And I'd say oftentimes more personal narratives, a lot of times I'm not consciously thinking I want to make this work about labor. Really seeing how that influence has evolved in the fabric of the American identity, I find it really fascinating. Different things that kind of surface. One in particular would be kind of the whole concept around Toyoteria. That was a concept that really naturally came out of the domestic space, In the domestic space, when I'm thinking of that, I think of, my experience working on my truck with my brothers. I think of my mom. The community of laborers who have gravitated towards that specific work truck and have really been just thinking a lot about the culture of it through the values of my family, just kind of doing it yourself and reverse engineering things and figuring it out on your own. We always worked on our own cars. So then that led me to going to the junkyards. And then that kind of brought me a little closer, the shared cultural experience that I was seeing, where I wasn't the only one. There was a lot of raza out there looking for the same parts off of the same engine. And then you would see them on the road. And then I would really see an aesthetic, a very rascuache aesthetic. I feel it's very specific to Southern California. Later in my life, got the opportunity to travel a lot, and I haven't really seen that anywhere else other than Southern California.